And blessed to be a part of your day. Kevin Miller in the morning here on KIDO Talk Radio. As you just heard from our friends at the Big Fox, the flu continues to rage across the country. Are you afraid of the flu? You know, when I was at the Canyon County Kids Expo on Saturday, you know, people were coughing and hacking and people are dropping like flies. And look, nobody wants to pile on. But it just makes me question the entire flu vaccine. And we had Tom from California calling in yesterday saying that, he's here in Idaho and the flu vaccine works for him. I don't know about that. I think the more removed we get from actual work and labor, the more sissified we get and the less defensive we are when it comes to viruses. I had a gentleman here yesterday. His name is John. He's coming to our State of the Union party tonight. And John's a farmer. And John was talking about how he, listens to the program when he's up in the morning. And, he was describing his work day. You work when it's dark. You get done when it's dark. And when you're doing that type of labor, like our friend Ryan, like others, who are out and about, working on the roads, working in the, building the buildings and the homes. You ever notice that their immune system seems to be a little higher than the rest of us? Like in the old days of people that worked in the coal mines, and some people still do, or the rubber factories, or the steel mills, or any thing of that nature, because their bodies are always being tested. Now, those of us that have gone into the world of being amoebas and office this and office that and working this, how many of us could last 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours or entire day of these people that are doing physical manual labor? I do believe that aids your immune system. And when we have people, again, unfortunately, because of the breakthroughs in technology, we're doing less and less, and we're becoming more like little children. When something doesn't go our way, we go from zero to freak. I think that contributes to it. So, look, my thoughts and prayers go out to people that are, hit by the flu, but it does go back to a situation, that we've talked about, and I continue to talk about. What's the use of the flu shot if you're going to get the flu anyway? And the most people that I talk to, they get the flu, and they've had the flu shot. And there are some people, and again, there are some people, and I've been this person, that I can remember probably the worst show I ever did. I was so heck bent on becoming a big star in Nashville, Tennessee. Little John Mounts, my big supporter there. We had been reunited. I was filling in for Phil Valentine. You know Phil. We have him on, nationally syndicated talk show host. It was a big deal. I did the morning show, and then I stayed around, or I drove home for an hour, came back, because I lived an hour away, and, I was dry heaving in between. Now, I thought I was doing something great. The show was horrible. It didn't do me any good. It was an embarrassment to the station and to Phil. But I kept going, no, I've got to work. And there are people that are, sick. And I don't know, want to become like Jerry Seinfeld. But as I said, when I was in the urgent care with my wife, there's people hacking up everywhere. They've got masks on. One guy's delirious. And I'm going, I don't need to catch that, so I moved somewhere else. So you go to places where people work, whether it's the store, whether it's the gym. And people are hacking everywhere. And you're thinking to yourself, how about some consideration for other people? I was at a place recently, and I was talking to an associate of mine, and they said we were talking about the flu. And they told me, look, you don't want to look over and go talk to Sally. I go, well, Sally's a nice lady. And, well, she's got the walking pneumonia. And, these people are handling things. And look, whether you're in the package delivery service, whether you're somewhere else, people need to stay home. But on the other hand, they have that diehard work ethic. And, employers need to be more cognizant. I love the idea of, well, these are the benefits you get, and you get only so many sick days. Now, it's very rare that people abuse sick days. Well, I don't want to use my sick days because I want to go on vacation. So I'm going to come in, hack all over everybody, and get everybody sick. In the old days, again, before social media and everything else, and here I go, I guess I'll self-report as being old man, get off my lawn. People had consideration. Is it too much to ask that when you're sick, you stay home? And, if you use the same stuff, I can recall many times where people would be sick or what have you, or we'd have germaphobes, and people would come into work and they would just spray down the equipment, literally. They'd grab a can of Lysol and spray the microphones. I don't know if that was good for the microphones, but just trying to get rid of all the germs. So this flu epidemic, again, I fail to understand it because we're told to get the flu shots. Most of the people in America have gotten the flu shots, and it doesn't look like the flu shot is doing its job. Is it?
Those that are high risk that we recommend to get treated if they get sick with the flu are the very young, the very old, the pregnant women, and those with underlying illnesses like heart conditions and lung problems.
Right. And I was listening to something, what do you do when your kid gets the flu? And how to tell when a baby gets the flu because they don't eat, they don't drink. And then what do you do? And there are many people on this program that called in and said, don't get vaccines at all. That's been a big thing, whether or not vaccines are good. But at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, I just don't understand that most people in America today get the flu shot, and every year we hear about the flu outbreak.
CDC is still recommending getting a flu shot. While getting a vaccine earlier in the season is better, there is still a lot of the season to go, and vaccination now could still provide some benefit.
I don't know about that. So that's one issue. It's time to get up and start the day. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Tonight is our State of the Union party. If you would like to join us at Dave & Buster's, we will be there starting at 6. The food is great and affordable. The State of the Union will be at 7. I would suggest getting there around 6:30 at the latest. And afterwards, as has been the tradition with the Kevin Miller program, we go live on the air. We'll have Joseph or George running around holding a microphone for you to speak, and then we will put a wrap on it. And for many, many years, I would watch these State of the Unions or these debates, and I'd yell at the TV, and I said, let's get like-minded people together. And again, big props to our friend Doug, who, sent me the email to give me the idea, just like Linda did with the debate parties. So we hope to see everybody there. We hope to show that the community is behind the president, and we look forward to that. Some people that aren't behind the president have their own version of the State of the Union, according to Steve Rappaport. Now, what are they going to say? Hey, the economy is rolling, people are getting more money back, life is good?
We wanted to hear the people's perspective on where our nation stands.
Mark Ruffalo told the crowd there's actually a silver lining to the election of Donald Trump.
We have created the mother of all movements. We have come together.
Kathy Najimy confessing she still has some of what she calls the oily residue of 2017 on her.
But what did we do? We didn't shrink. We exploded.
While John Leguizamo joked that he could really use the Gipper right now.
This president makes me long for Ronald Reagan.
Other leaders of the resistance movement at Town Hall Theater included Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Moore, and Wanda Sykes. The resistance continues tonight on social media, with Alyssa Milano encouraging people to post videos outlining their dreams for America at 9 p.m. Eastern Time when President Trump takes the stage. In New York, Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
And thank you, Steve, on KIDO Talk Radio. Remember, our debate watch party and our our State of the Union party, by the way, will be at 7 o'clock, and you can hear the State of the Union right here on KIDO Talk Radio on 107.5 FM and 580 AM. So we go back to this. They've clearly lost their mind with the Trump derangement syndrome. As we told you yesterday, if you missed it, the Grammys, the lowest watched ever. And now you have these scurrilous allegations that Nikki Haley is having an affair with Donald Trump from Michael Wolff. And Nikki Haley made a very good point when she was talking about the Grammys. And here she is, a wife, a former governor. I don't know if she has any kids. And they shame these women, these conservative women, and making these scurrilous allegations. And I believe it was the libs that were the victims of Harvey Weinstein. And then you have Hillary Clinton reading from this book. It shows you that they couldn't get over, and they still don't get over, the election. And one of the things is, and we're going to talk about this memo coming up, and we're going to spend a lot of time on it. I know Sean Hannity has, Lars Larson has. Do want to thank Lars Larson for joining us yesterday. He'll join us every Monday at 8 o'clock. But one thing is, this memo, this bias of these two folks associated with the FBI, Strzok and Page, when they were laughing about Loretta Lynch and the fix being in with Comey. One thing is, this was never to see the light of day because Hillary Clinton was supposed to win. Hillary Clinton was supposed to win. And do you think that we'd have any type of House Judiciary Committee going after this if Hillary Clinton was running the show? I don't think so.
This administration today, here and now, declares unconditional war on poverty in America.
1 year of Watergate is enough.
And I must say to you that the state of the union is not good.
For our friends in the press who place a high premium on accuracy, let me say, I did not actually hear George Washington say that.
The era of big government is over.
An axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world.
I have no more campaigns to run. My only agenda, I know because I won both of them.
Boy, not sad to see that one go. So again, think about joining us tonight at Dave & Buster's from 6 to 9. For more information, you can go to KIDOTalkRadio.com. By the way, the California teacher and local politician who made those comments about the military has lost his job. But coming up next, believe it or not, the state of California is looking to ban plastic straws and actually fine waiters, or is it imprison waiters, who ask you if you want a straw. Again, thank goodness we live in Idaho. Coming up next with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio.
California Assembly Majority Leader Ian Calderon has introduced a bill that says restaurants cannot offer you a straw. You have to request one. He says it's not a ban, it's to raise awareness about single-use plastic items that can't be recycled, like straws. He wants people to change their behaviors. But he's run into some criticism because the bill says restaurants and waiters could be fined if they do give you an unsolicited straw. Calderon says penalties are based on the code section the bill is currently in, and it will be amended out of that section at a later time. He also said 500 million straws are used in the U.S. every day, and the statistical analysis used to arrive at that number is being heavily questioned. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
So there we have it. As if the state of California doesn't have enough issues as it is, they're going to fine waiters and restaurants for offering you a straw. Now, what happens if you're one of these people that, I don't know, you're one of these people that, you've paid the big money for the teeth whitening and everything else, and what do they tell you with the teeth whitening? You have to drink through a straw because the caffeine, the coffee, the soda, everything else stains your teeth, right? Nobody wants to do that, especially when they've spent big money on teeth whitening. It's a big business. We hear the ads all the time. However, at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, I just sit back here and I think to myself, why in the world would you prosecute people? And by the way, the fine would be $1,000 for waiters offering unsolicited plastic straws. Okay, the state of California has a crisis when it comes to budget, when it comes to dealing with the illegals, when it comes to everything else. Why in the world would they go after straws? It truly shows you, I think, that place has fallen. Your thoughts on this, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Should waiters be fined $1,000 for offering you a straw? It's funny. The idea of just these endangered species, and we're going to get to this in a minute about the lands issue. We'll talk about that, but first let's go to the phone. Liberal Steve joins us now at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberal Steve.
Good morning, strong conservative Miller. Alternative information is just flying from your side of the fence. just flying, and that's what it'll be tonight. And it'll all be not alternative facts, but alternative information about the economy, about everything else, and it's all. But you know what? It's going to be all about Him, the Almighty, the King with no clothes. Oh, I wonder if every station's going to cover it. I wonder if CNN will cover it. You going to cover it, Kevin?
What's that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. You are going to cover it. Well, I hope you recognize me when I walk in down there tonight. I will be incognito to listen to the pout and, oh, I can't. It just upsets me to even know the words that are going to come out of people's mouths down there tonight.
So wait a minute. You've just made a lot of allegations without really saying anything. The president should be happy considering what he's done with the economy. More people are working. More people are investing in America. I'm sorry I let you talk. Would you let me finish?
Okay.
We've never been stronger as a country than we are now, and the people of your ilk can't take that somebody's doing a better job than Obama.
Hey, Kevin, has the economy all through the history of the United States been up and down like a roller coaster? Great. Well, I mean, unions were strong at one time. I mean, come on. The economy's the economy. It's going to roll the way the deep state wants it to roll. Oh, did I say deep state?
Compared to where we were under President Obama, I think things are looking up. I know things are looking up. And you all can't take that. That's why you come up with all this stuff back and forth.
I don't come up with anything except alternative information. And are they going to go around and fine all the McDonald's in California for handing straws out with the Big Macs?
Apparently.
Meals? Hey, Idaho could do the same thing. I mean, we already have islands floating in the ocean with plastic in it that are the size of Manhattan and New Jersey. And I mean, do we need more? Yeah, I think we should go back to paper. And the Constitution was written on hemp, so we can go back to hemp straws.
Hemp straws.
So, yeah, that's what they used to make straws out of, Kevin.
Well,
but not anymore.
Not anymore. I guess we'll see you tonight, and you're going to be incognito. Hopefully
nobody will recognize me. You won't even recognize me, Kevin. I will be wearing my Dylan shoes, so when I get to your garden party, things will rock and think. And I will be secretly taping it with a camera on my lapel. So be careful what you say, Miller.
Fair enough. Thank you, sir.
Stay fired up and have a great day, Kevin.
We'll see you tonight.
Oh, Kevin? Are you there?
Sir.
Yeah, you were talking about you have to drink a straw once you have your teeth whitened and everything. Mm-hmm. You know, since that came out and they're doing that, no one's come out with the cancer-causing agents that are found in the bleaches and everything that they put into your mouth to whiten your teeth. But that'll be another 15 years down the road when things start showing up and you'll see a little ad on TV. And we have a class action lawsuit.
And we could say we heard it here from you first. Thank you, sir.
Well, it's alternative information. Stay fired up, Kev.
Thank you. Time for traffic and weather. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. So, again, you got to love this idea of California banning straws. That's right. Waiters could be fined up to $1,000 if they offer you a straw, because there are 5,000 straws being offered today, and the state of California truly has nothing else to worry about, but it's for the environment. And this is something that was brought to my attention recently. And what was it? Was it really the spotted owl that took down the timber business in Idaho? Was it the spotted owl? I know it was in some parts of the country. I know it was in Oregon. But now all of a sudden, I mean, and I think we all love animals. We all care for animals. But have we gotten too crazy when it comes to protecting so many species that we're going after the ranchers and the farmers, the people, not the grocery stores, although we love the grocery stores, that actually produce the food that we consume? You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and they were telling me, well, I can't get access to water because of some type of squirrel that's endangered. And we've emboldened and empowered the EPA and the BLM to pretty much attack the foundation of the United States of America. I mean, what is America without farmers? What is America without ranchers? You know, as nice as it is to live in this digital age, if we didn't have people working the fields, real farmers working the fields, where would we be? And there's a new Netflix documentary. I don't know if you've caught it yet. Well, no, most of you work or you're skiing or doing something else afterwards. No, I'm not talking about dirty money, but there's a new Netflix documentary that takes a look at really our food list and the idea of, you know, where it's going from and the elimination of family farms. We have seen this again and again and again in the Netflix original series called Rotten. And basically, they travel deep into the heart of the food supply chain to reveal some truths that are unsavory and uncomfortable that really shape what we eat. And I guess the older I get, the more I'm hooked on these documentaries, but we see these big agribusinesses coming in, and yeah, it's great to employ people, but really it was the family farmers back to the founding of the Republic and the ranchers that made America, that made Idaho. You know, maybe that's something else that, you know, the next time we see any of the candidates. By the way, if any of the candidates running for office, you're all invited tonight. And yes, I probably should call your staffs, or maybe I'll put a link on the Facebook or what have you. But I mean, if you're truly in touch, you're going to see people. By the way, our venue at Dave & Buster's is overflowing that we're going to be in the big room tonight, thanks to you. But, you know, there are a few things. I would question that HP deal, obviously education, and this idea about Idaho ranchers and farmers being run out by the BLM. Who's going to stick up for them? We'll proudly give you the voice if you'll do it. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good.
Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Thank you all for joining us as we move along. Phone numbers, you've got them. By the way, tonight, very excited to be once again hosting our State of the Union Watch Party at Dave & Buster's. And I was talking to Cindy the other day at the Canyon County Kids Expo, and she's going, well, Kevin, you know, why do you do Dave & Buster's? Because Dave & Buster's appreciates you. They appreciate this program, and they've allowed us to be there. It has been a long time since we've had venues that actually get us. We've had other venues before that have come in and said, oh, we want to do this, and, you know, then they get scared because of the guns and everything and whatever. Anyway, that's why we don't have gun meetings anymore, because the venues, they don't like it when people come in with the guns. Now, the last time we had one, and unfortunately, some ne'er-do-well deleted our YouTube videos of our gun rally, where we had, what was it, over 800 people at the Courtyard Marriott in Meridian, and the guy had the AR with the full magazine in it. It was crazy times. But if you can't trust your fellow Americans, if you can't trust your fellow Idahoans, who can you trust, right? So tonight it will be a fun time. Get a nap. It's going to be rowdy. And this is our way of showing the Treasure Valley that there are many people that support President Trump. So for more details, you can go to KIDOTalkRadio.com as we move along. You know, there was an interesting story Maggie was talking about, that Idaho would no longer be the only state in the country not to provide legal protections for breastfeeding mothers under a newly introduced bill. Now, do you believe that we need a bill to protect breastfeeding mothers? Now, apparently 49 states, including the District of Columbia and the Virgin Islands, have laws that specifically allow women to breastfeed in any location, public or private. And this is, by the way, from the Associated Press. Meanwhile, Idaho is one of 17 states, as well as Puerto Rico, to exempt breastfeeding mothers from jury duty. Now, again, you're saying, Kevin, you started talking a little bit about straws. You started talking about a little bit about California and now you've moved on into breastfeeding in the state of Idaho. Is that really a serious issue when we have the FISA memo that could be released, when we have the State of the Union tonight? Well, think about that when we're talking about the purpose of the legislature, right? You know, of course, they've looked at expanding and strengthening the Castle Doctrine. We'll get into that as well. Joining us now from New York, Tanya J. Powers of Fox News Radio. Good morning.
Good morning.
A little blip there. So California and straws, apparently they want to fine waiters $1,000 for offering someone a straw.
Well, I don't know if it's the waiters themselves. I know that they're aiming at the restaurant. Now, whether that would get passed along to the wait staff is another story entirely. But this Democratic Assemblyman there in California has introduced a bill that would. He says it's aimed at reducing waste to the environment, that kind of thing. He says that he sent this proposal that restaurants not just automatically give you a straw. You know how when you go into a dine-in restaurant, you sit down, you place your drink order, they bring you your Coke or whatever, and they put a straw beside the glass in most cases. This would keep them from just automatically giving you the straw. You'd have to ask for it. And he says that he sent this proposal to the State Legislative Rules Committee, and it was written that way, and the Safety and Health Code folks attached penalties to it automatically, which would make it a misdemeanor punishable by 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine for these restaurants that get caught doing this. And that's where the backlash started. He says, that was not his intention, was to, create some sort of, egregious punishment for straws, but that he's trying to do something that would help keep the excess plastic and things like that off the California coast and things like that. He actually said that the plastic straws and stirrers are the 6 most common items collected during their California coastal cleanup days between 1989 and 2014. So he sees this as a huge problem.
Boy, like I said, he probably didn't expect the backlash, though.
No, I don't think he expected that. I mean, when they attached the violations, the punishments for it, I'm sure that's where this all got a lot of attention.
Well, most restaurants I go to, I mean, you go to the counter and you get the straws. So I don't know about these fancy restaurants where they offer you straws.
The ones where you're sitting down and you're getting all comfortable.
Yeah, I usually have like a tray or something, or I just grab the tray and then I get the straw myself. I've never really been to a place where they offer you a straw. That must be fancy stuff.
I've heard tell that they are.
Must be fancy New York stuff,
I see what you did there, Kevin.
Well, it is crazy. A lot of stories coming out of California. We have a lot of folks from California that are moving here, so we hear quite a bit, and it's never a dull moment in the state of California.
No.
Tanya J. Powers, who are you picking in the Super Bowl?
I'll have to go with Philadelphia.
Of course you would.
What do you mean? What do you mean by of course you would?
Of course you would.
I don't understand.
Just saying.
I know better than to ask you this question because I know who you're picking.
Right. I thought we could be on the same team for once. Last year it was Atlanta. A couple years before that it was Seattle. And here I'm trying to build a bridge.
I understand that.
Love the inflection.
I'm agreeing with you. I understand it.
Look, I've been around enough of your people. I know that inflection. So,
your people?
Yeah, Southerners.
Your people.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Bless your heart, Kevin.
You beat me to it. Tanya J. Powers, you have a terrific day, and I almost said go Eagles just because we're having such a great vibe here. But you have a great day, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Kevin Miller in the morning here. Again, one of our top stories, California, they want to ban people from offering straws at restaurants, number one. Number two, the idea, do you really think the Idaho legislature, and again, maybe I'm insensitive, maybe I'm a lot of things, do we really need a law to protect breastfeeding moms in public? Is that something that you want the Idaho legislature looking on? Maybe it's a real-life issue, number one. Number two, a strengthened Castle Doctrine. Thank you to Ray Amaya. We'll have Representative Nate on coming up to talk about that and school gun safety. But first, here's our own Catherine Herridge at KIDO Talk Radio with the latest on the FISA memo release.
Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee got the votes they need to release their memo. After the closed-door session on Capitol Hill, the committee's ranking Democrat, Adam Schiff, said the Republican majority voted against the public release of the Democrats' version at the same time. Under congressional rules, the issue is now with the president. On Capitol Hill, Catherine Herridge, Fox News.
So the president can order the release, and that will take 5 days. Now, it's funny, the Democrats have a memo. Nobody's seen it. And I don't know what the deal is with Shep Smith from Fox News. He calls the Republican memo a distraction memo. He might as well just go to CNN or MSNBC, Shep. You're not that good. You never were. Go over and hang out with the libs. I mean, this memo is going to prove that there was collusion between Strzok and Page, between the FBI's lead investigator and his alleged adulteress. Joking about Donald Trump, joking that Hillary Clinton was going to win. How can they be objective? Well, they're just human. No. There is a code. And to be in the FBI, you have to be exemplary. You have to be above reproach. Clearly, these two people were not above reproach, number one. Number two, at 580-5436, remember, the fix was in. Hillary Clinton was supposed to win, right? Let's go to Tom in Nampa with Kevin Miller at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. You know, since Idaho is constitutional carry, I really don't think breastfeeding mothers need all that much more protection. Just saying.
I didn't know that people were persecuting breastfeeding mothers in Idaho.
Well, once they're armed, I think it will come to an abrupt stop.
I suppose it would, yes.
Yes. I had a thought. I've heard all this talk about amnesty and dreamers and all this stuff. I was just wondering, since you were, speaking of the Californios, what do you think would be their reaction if the state of Idaho declared itself a sanctuary state for firearms that may not exactly have all the right paperwork? I mean, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, things have come across the border that didn't exactly meet standards, didn't get the right, mother may I from the federal government. What would happen if Idaho just said, no, these things haven't bothered anybody. They've just been sitting on in old Uncle Roy's footlocker since 1946 or 1954 or whatever. If we just said, no, federal government, we're not going to cooperate in your laws about these things, how would the Californios react to that, do you think?
Well, I think they'd turn us into the ATF.
Yeah, we just said, ATF just, no, we're just not going to cooperate. I'm just wondering how many heads would explode in California, and would it be worth the paperwork, do you think? I'm thinking yes.
Well, Tom, we'll throw that out to people. Here's something, though. You remember the Branch Davidians, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm watching 48 Hours the other night, and technically, those guys didn't harm anybody. They were out practicing on their own. They were turned in by a UPS guy, and the feds went after them. And look, David Koresh, it was a cult. He was doing a lot of bad things, but it wasn't like there was no probable cause there, except the UPS driver turned him in.
Well, it was also, there was a hearing 30 days after the start of the thing for the ATF budget for the next year. I'm not saying the two are related. I simply find the timing interesting. Nice, flashy case, budget coming up. Yeah, I can see the coincidence.
Well, and they never thought that they would face what they faced with the armed Davidians.
Yeah. Do you know that, to my knowledge, no outside agency besides the ATF have ever looked at the weapons recovered from the site?
Not the FBI?
Not to my knowledge. And a lot of the evidence disappeared.
Well, kind of like Lavoy Finnegans' truck.
And, and unlike a certain bunch of emails, has not shown up again. But, that was when the Clintonistas were running things, so I think that's right next to Vince Foster.
Well, and the assault weapons ban, may it rest in peace.
Yeah, because It's like the bayonet lug? It put a stop to all those drive-by bayonetings, by golly.
Tom, thank you for the call.
You too. Thanks for actually bothering to talk to me. You're one of the few.
Well,
Talk to you later.
Take care, Tom. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You always got a home with Kevin Miller here at KIDO Talk Radio. We like to listen. Now, this young lady told me she was not going to talk, but she's here with us now. Good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. I didn't talk yesterday. I actually listened for 3 hours. I actually did listen for 3 hours.
Took the day off.
I fasted. Yeah, I did. I actually did do that. But I actually was so tempted to call, but I'm glad that at least the school system in California stood strong for our military. You can say whatever you want to about me, but our military, that 9% of the people in the United States that serve, 91% don't. It's good that at least the conscience was there to understand you won't be protected. Californians, you're not speaking, Japanese or German as your second language or probably your only language. So that really was more saddened to my heart, but that is the state of this nation. I did want to say that you were talking about farms and Whatcom County, where I lived, had a film called The Vanishing Farms of Whatcom County, sort of like in our nation, from 500 to 50 farms in that county. And, the family was a way of life back then. I'm talking about the God-designed family, a man, a woman, a family, and it taught purposeful work and all kinds of things. So the sadness in our society is what, I do see the slippery slope happening into socialism, but probably why I do what I do, and I'm just going to give out there respectfully 5 facts. I can tell you, and I'm going to name the candidate only because these are just facts that he's put out, and that's Raul Labrador, and these are just facts. He led the fight against EPA overreach. I could be more specific. He rejected the federal restrictions on our lands. He fought for Idahoans' right to manage the sage grouse, which caused a big deal with, I believe, the Hammonds. He fought to repeal the Waters of the U.S. Regulatory Expansion and authored and passed the Grazing Improvement Act, and that was in 2014, which helped ranchers cut through the bureaucratic red tape by streamlining permit renewals, and he did a proposal to force environmentalists to pay legal fees for frivolous lawsuits, which, as you know, happen right left. And last said, I'm just waiting to see with that Baker. I had a laugh because in Whatcom County we had one slaughterhouse, and fine, he accepted a Bible from me, and he took his Quran. But they don't slaughter pigs. They made a big deal. You can't do this around our slaughterhouse. And the farmers acquiesced, and they went down to another county. How tragic that you can, not fight back, say, fine, we got to go move. Actually, they didn't even build one in Everson, a slaughterhouse. But you can acquiesce to others coming into our country in many different ways, and yet a baker loses 40% and is not allowed to bake a cake because of this stir, because he chose to have his worldview out there. I can listen to people on your radio with other worldviews, and I do respect them, and I'm going to be more, I just say it's a conscience thing that has to be changed before their worldview will. But I just want to say thank you, Kevin. I will be there tonight with my tin tail on the donkey.
We're looking forward to it, and we always appreciate you, Cindy.
Well, I'm bringing a real Californian that is a pro-life Roman Catholic. And I said, Teresa, you got to come with me so they can see that you got some Californians that moved here that are, all for loving on our president, supporting, what's going on. And I said to Teresa, she's really looking forward to meeting you.
Well, we look forward to meeting you and seeing you once again, Cindy. You keep your powder dry.
For sure, Kevin. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. Coming up next, do we need laws protecting breastfeeding mothers in Idaho? The legislature is considering it. We'll talk about it next. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio. Coming up, Fox News on the radio. And then Representative Nate will join us, get his thoughts on, well, this legislation involving protecting breastfeeding mothers, the strengthened Castle Doctrine, and guns in schools. All that before 8 o'clock. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, we'll continue to take your calls. 9 o'clock, it's Glenn Beck for now. And we hope to see you tonight at our State of the Union party. For more information, KIDOTalkRadio.com. Good morning.